In a moment, Sue Ellson, career expert. ATARs are being fiddled with, that being the Year 12 score that kids get. There is now a move to issue a certificate of learning to some students to prove that they have the soft skills that that employers are looking for. 133 693. I'm going to ask you this question directly. How important is it to complete Year 12? It's 29 minutes to 1.
For a limited time, fly to the Pacific Islands with award-winning Fiji Airways. Stay with 5 nights accommodation and save up to 30%. Packages start from $1,949 per person twin share. Book now at fijiairways.com or call your travel agent today. Conditions apply.
Interesting article in The Age by Robyn Grace. The headline, Abilities Not Exams, Victorian Students Testing a New Measure That Could Replace ATAR. ATAR, that's what we would have called the VCE/HSC. National initiative that aims to overtake the traditional definition of student success based on exams ranking, which it is argued is essentially a funnel to get kids to university. But what if you don't want to go to university? A company named Melbourne Metrics has been working with employers and universities, according to the article, admissions authorities for 4 years to incorporate learner credentials into transitions from school, matching students to appropriate pathways instead of ranking them with exam results. In your experience, I mean, anybody who did matriculation, Year 12, would remember the pressure, stated or otherwise, that the rest of your life hinged on that 1 year of study. At least they were the stakes that I was told existed when I did it. My completion of Year 12, I would argue, has had virtually nothing to do with the career that I eventually undertook. I wonder if you're in the same boat, 133 693, or if you left school early and your life took a course that maybe wasn't planned in a good way or a bad way. But does completing Year 12, is it the be-all and the end-all? Do we need an alternative to ATAR's VCE, to that raw score at the end of your hard year's labour doing Year 12? Is it the be-all and the end-all? Sue Ellson is a career expert and joins me now. Good afternoon, Sue.
Hi, Tony.
So the argument is, I mean, it's a very left-wing union is obviously behind this. That's the Educational Union. But it is saying that employers are saying ATAR score doesn't mean anything to us. You can either do the job or you can't. Is there validity to that?
I would agree with that, because what most employers want is somebody who has skills, who can come in and provide some sort of value from day one. So it doesn't mean they have to have 100% capacity, but they'd like you to be able to do something for them that they're paying you for from that day one. And personal skills is a huge component of that, particularly with technology now. So it's a case of you can find any facts or data that you need, but having those skills to convey that and communicate with others and actually engage on the job, they're going to be really important as well.
Okay, is there at work here the assumption that you can't independently or objectively verify for soft skills under the current system? Because what you're talking about is, well, both soft skills and hard skills, like proficiency at technology, you should be able to test for and you should have been able to identify in a 15 or 16-year-old.
Yes, well, a lot of those things you don't actually get to see in action until they're on the job. So,
right.
Yeah, some of them are very difficult to assess. But I think what you also need to look at is the changing nature of students. Now, you and I would well remember the intrepidation we felt just with the word exam. Like that was enough just to make you feel ill.
Yep.
And anytime you have to fill in a form for the rest of your life, you're still thinking about exams.
Yeah.
Whereas the student of today is micro-learning all the time. Every time they're on their phone or they watch a video on social media, they're getting a dopamine reward. That's all being gamified. So if you think about the traditional learning style where you have to go away, learn something and reproduce it in written form, that's not going to suit a lot of students, and they're going to be disinterested in doing it. And interestingly, the actual rate of completion of Year 12 is slowly declining as well, which suggests that the students are not engaged enough with the current methodology. So not that I'm a far left-wing person supporting the union here, but if we think about the changing nature of students, then we really have to make the education suitable for for the way our life is changing the education process as well.
Well, there's a cultural dimension to this too, because you've got kids from Asian and Indian background who are very academically focused, and they love they really go for the academic side of things. Is there not going to be tension between these two groups if you water down ATARs? Are you necessarily discriminating in favour of one group against another?
Well, I think from what this policy suggestion is, you can choose whether you go down the certificate path or whether you go down the ATAR path. So people seeking that academic process, can definitely still follow that. And what I've noticed is sometimes, and I work with academics who get very frustrated by the quality of assessments now. So if we jump from year 12 to tertiary education, then what you're going to find is some of those academic assessments are not going to be suitable for all the students. So if you bundle in some of the international students who have a very literal understanding of English and who don't understand cultural nuances and so on, some of them would even find it difficult even if it was an academic assessment. So the way I see it, anything that looks at our current models and says, what could we do to improve outcomes for students and for employers, or, anything that they decide to do in the future, what is the best way we can go forward? And we're going to have to test that. We're going to have to trial it. And technology is changing at an exponential rate. So we've got that factor to put in as well. But the actual academic rate of completion for Year 12 is less than 80%. And
wow.
When we're told that, everybody needs to pass, and then we find out, well, hang on a minute, 20+% are not passing, then there's an awful lot of people out there, particularly from low socioeconomic backgrounds, who are not finishing Year 12, but they still find a way to do further study because we need continuous learning, or they get a job, or they do something else with their life. It doesn't end on, the end of Year 12 year, that's for sure.
And I'd love to get calls on that, 133 693, if that's been your experience. Are we finding ourselves in solving a problem of our own making? Should we have not got rid of tech schools?
Oh, I so miss the concept of tech skills because there are some people who visual learning or auditory learning is just not suitable for them.
There's a lot of them. Yeah.
They've got to do something with their hands. They've got to see it in practice. They've got to be able to communicate verbally. They can't read even, and that's not because they have literacy issues. They just don't find it easy to interpret information from written instructions. And so, yes, I think that was a huge loss, and particularly since we have a shortage of tradespeople. That was considered a very suitable path for a lot of people who didn't fit the traditional academic mould. And then the other thing I think we need to do is take away the stigma from people who start university and then don't complete it. So I know a student who did 3 subjects at one university, hated it there, and started all over again at a different university in a different course. Now, that's not a failure. That's an identification that this theory or this logic of education here wasn't suitable for me, but I'll go somewhere where it is because, that suited me better.
And where attendance at protests aren't compulsory, which seems to be the case at some.
Definitely not.
Sue, thank you for your time this afternoon. Sue Ellson is a career expert. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you.
Tony.
133 693, you're replacing VCE with a certificate of learning, one that says that you have a certain set of skills that can't necessarily be tested objectively, as you can say with maths or physics and the rest of it. Brett, you've got